Good morning. I'm State Representative Tim Jones, and once again I bring you my weekly video roundup from Jefferson City. We are here once again in the chamber, in the House chamber in the Capitol, where we've seen quite a bit of action this week. We had two very important pieces of legislation that I'd like to briefly discuss and share with you. The first one was a bill that was brought to the floor by my good friend and colleague, Representative Jason Smith from Dent County. And his bill would be a proposed constitutional amendment to allow you, the voters of the state of Missouri, to have special elections any time that any of your statewide elected officials have a vacancy in their office, such as the Attorney General, the State Treasurer, the State Auditor, and the Secretary of State. Currently, and many of you may not be aware of this, but currently, if one of those individuals has to leave office for whatever reason, the governor would simply appoint a successor. And many of us were surprised to realize that the governor had that power and ability, despite the fact that all four of those people are originally elected by everyone in the state of Missouri. So we felt it would make sense to offer the option to the voters to determine whether or not, if a vacancy occurred, that they want to then re-elect a new person in a special election. We feel that is the ultimate expression of democracy and freedom, and ensures one of our most important rights, which many people feel is our most important right, and that is the right to elect our own representatives. So that bill was heard on the House floor this week, and I am happy to say it did pass with a bipartisan, strong majority. The second piece of legislation was brought to the floor by our budget chairman, Representative Alan Isett, who is a good friend and colleague of mine from back home in the St. Louis County area. And Representative Isett brought to the floor a House concurrent resolution urging our federal government to pass a balanced budget amendment. I know that seems like a very common sense and practical thing to do, but unfortunately, as many of you likely know, the federal government has been spending trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars of our taxpayer money over the last 2 years with no end in sight, ramping up a massive deficit. We have seen spending like never before, and the government continues to simply print money and borrow your taxpayer dollars in the future, mortgaging your children and grandchildren's future from China, India, and other foreign countries. This would urge our federal government to do exactly what we do here in the Show Me State, and that is to simply have a balanced budget. We are required to do it by our Missouri State Constitution, and we believe our federal government should be no exception from fiscal practicality, from fiscal conservatism, and making sure that we are spending your tax dollars wisely. These were two very important pieces of legislation. They both passed out of the House this week with overwhelming bipartisan majorities, and I wanted to simply relate those to you. Thank you for listening, and we will continue to do what we can for the good people of the state of Missouri. Thank you.